The day the aliens came was just like any other day. The sun rose, people went to work, children played in parks. No one knew that by sunset, everything would change. Commander Lisa Brown stood alone at the wide window of the space station. Her sharp eyes watched the stars. For 5 years she had commanded this post, keeping watch for any signs of trouble. Today she would find it. "Commander, you need to see this," called Alan, his voice shaking. Lisa turned from the window. Alan's face was pale on the video screen. She had never seen the calm communications officer look so afraid. "What is it?" she asked, walking quickly to her control panel. Something just appeared near Mars. 7 objects. Very big. Moving fast. Heading straight for us. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. First contact. After all the years of watching the stars, wondering if anyone was out there, they finally had an answer. "Show me," she ordered. The main screen lit up. Lisa gasped. 7 huge black ships shaped like diamonds moved through space with unnatural grace. Each ship was at least a mile long, their surfaces smooth and dark like polished obsidian. "Are they sending any messages?" she asked. Alan shook his head. "Nothing yet, but they're—" "Wait." He pressed his hand to his earpiece. "Commander, they're broadcasting now, on all channels. Every radio, TV, and phone on Earth is picking this up." A voice filled the room. It was clearly female, but strange, like several voices speaking as one. It had a musical quality that no human voice could make. "People of Earth, we are the Zoraxian Imperium. For 10,000 cycles we have ruled this sector of the galaxy. Our warrior queens have conquered 100 worlds. You will submit to our rule or face extinction. You have 3 Earth rotations to decide. Choose wisely." The message ended. The room fell silent. "Get me the Secretary General," Lisa ordered, "and prepare my shuttle. I'm going down to Earth." 12 hours later, Lisa's shuttle landed at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Armed guards met her on the landing pad. Fear hung in the air like a thick fog. People walked quickly, heads down, whispering to each other. Above, the 7 black ships could now be seen with the naked eye, hanging in the sky like dark stars. "Commander Brown, thank you for coming so quickly," said Maria Garcia, the Secretary General's assistant. "They're waiting for you inside." Lisa followed Maria through long hallways. Emergency lights flashed. Staff ran back and forth carrying papers and equipment. In the main chamber, world leaders argued loudly around a large table. "We must fight back," shouted one general, pounding his fist on the table. "With what?" cried another. "Did you see those ships? They could wipe us out in seconds." "Then we surrender," said a quiet voice. "We have no choice." Secretary General Carlos Mendez spotted Lisa and waved her over. His face showed the strain of the past hours. "Commander Brown, what can you tell us about these aliens?" All eyes turned to Lisa. She took a deep breath. "Not much yet. Their technology is far beyond ours. Those ships could indeed destroy our major cities in minutes if they wanted to. But they haven't attacked yet. They're talking. That gives us a chance." "A chance for what?" asked the Chinese ambassador. "To negotiate better terms of surrender?" Lisa shook her head. "I've been studying their message, their ships, everything we can observe. These Zoraxians respect strength above all. If we show weakness, they'll treat us like slaves. If we try to fight conventionally, they'll crush us." "So what do you suggest?" asked Mendez. Lisa smiled slightly. "Something unexpected. Something that will confuse them and make them curious. I think we should challenge them." The room erupted in shouts. Mendez banged his gavel for order. "Challenge them? To what? A war we can't win?" he asked. "Not a war," said Lisa. "A contest. Their best against our best. Different types of challenges that test all kinds of strength. Not just physical power or military might, but creativity, problem solving, adaptability. All the things that make humans special." "And if we lose?" asked a senator. "Then we're no worse off than if we surrender now," Lisa replied. "But if we win, we set the terms." The room fell silent as everyone considered her words. It's crazy, said the Russian president, finally. But maybe crazy is what we need right now. Over the next day, Lisa worked with a team of diplomats, scientists, and military leaders to craft their response. Sleep was forgotten. Food was barely touched. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. At last, as the deadline approached, they were ready. Lisa stood in the United Nations Plaza, a small microphone pinned to her uniform. Behind her stood a group of Earth's representatives. Before her, the open sky, where the alien ships loomed. "I am Commander Lisa Brown of Earth," she said clearly. "We have received your message and have made our decision. We do not surrender." She paused, letting the words hang in the air. "Instead, we challenge the Zoraxian Imperium to a series of contests. 4 tests of different kinds of strength. If you win, we will discuss terms of our integration into your Imperium. If we win, you will leave Earth in peace and open diplomatic relations as equals." For a long moment there was no response. Then a beam of light shot down from the nearest ship, forming a circle around Lisa. A voice spoke, heard not just by those in the plaza but by everyone on Earth. "Your audacity is surprising, humans. No species has ever dared challenge the Zoraxian Imperium." The voice paused. "We accept your challenge. Prepare your champions. We will descend at dawn tomorrow to begin the contests." As the light vanished, Lisa let out the breath she'd been holding. Step 1 complete. Earth had just bought itself a fighting chance. Behind her, Secretary General Mendez whispered, "I hope you know what you're doing, Commander." Lisa watched the ships hovering above the city. "So do I," she said softly. "So do I." Dawn broke over New York City with unusual quiet. No cars honked, no planes flew overhead. People stayed in their homes, eyes fixed on screens or looking up at the 7 black ships that hung in the sky. Lisa Brown had not slept. She stood in front of a mirror in the United Nations building, straightening her blue uniform. Today she would meet the aliens face to face. Today the future of Earth would be decided. "Are you ready, Commander?" asked Carlos Mendez, the Secretary General. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. "As ready as I'll ever be," Lisa replied. She checked her watch. "It's time." They walked together to the large plaza outside the UN building. A team of diplomats, scientists, and military leaders waited there. Armed soldiers stood at a distance, though everyone knew their weapons would be useless against the alien technology. "Do you think they'll actually come down here?" asked Dr. Susan Lee, Earth's top biologist. "What if they just beam us up or something?" "They'll come down," Lisa said firmly. "They want to show their power. Meeting us on our ground lets them do that." As if on cue, a beam of light shot down from the nearest ship. It widened into a circle about 50 feet across. The air within, the circle shimmered like heat rising from hot pavement. "Here they come," whispered Lisa. A shape appeared in the light, then another, and another. The light faded, revealing 3 tall figures standing in the plaza. Everyone gasped. The aliens were incredible to see. They stood nearly 7 feet tall with blue skin that shimmered like the ocean under sunlight. All 3 were female, with strong, muscular bodies. Instead of hair, they had what looked like crystal spikes growing from their heads. These crystals changed color slightly as they moved. The aliens wore armor that seemed to be part of their bodies rather than something they put on. It flowed with their movements, shining like polished metal. They carried no visible weapons, but Lisa sensed they didn't need any. The alien in the center stepped forward. Her black eyes, flecked with silver like stars in a night sky, studied the humans with clear interest. "I am High General Vexara of the Zoraxian Imperium," she said. Her voice was deep and musical, with strange echoes. "Who speaks for Earth?" Lisa took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I am Commander Lisa Brown of the International Space Coalition. I speak for Earth today." The alien looked down at Lisa. Her crystal crest flickered with blue and purple lights. "You are smaller than I expected," Vexara said. "Are you truly the best warrior your world has to offer?" "I'm not a warrior," Lisa replied calmly. "I'm a leader and a diplomat. On Earth, we value many kinds of strength. This seemed to amuse the alien. And yet you challenge the greatest warrior empire in the galaxy? Interesting. She tilted her head. Explain your challenge, human. Lisa nodded. We propose 4 contests between your people and ours. Each contest will test a different kind of strength or skill. First, physical combat. One of your warriors against one of ours. Second, strategic planning, a test of military and resource management. Third, technological innovation, building something useful with limited resources. And finally, cultural understanding, learning and interpreting each other's ways of life. Vexara's crest flickered rapidly, showing surprise. These are unusual contests. Why not simply test weapons or fleet strength? Because those tests would not show what humans truly are, Lisa explained. We are not the strongest species physically. We don't have the most advanced weapons. But we believe we have other strengths that matter just as much. The alien general turned to her companions. They spoke in their own language, a series of musical tones and clicks that no human throat could make. The crystals on their heads flashed with colors as they talked. Finally, Vexara turned back to Lisa. Your challenge is accepted. Each contest will have 7 rounds. The side that wins the majority of rounds wins the contest. The side that wins the majority of contests wins the challenge. Agreed, said Lisa. If we win, Vexara continued, your world joins the Imperium as a subject. Planet, if you win. She paused as if the idea was hard to imagine. If you win, we will leave your system and open diplomatic talks as equals. Lisa stepped forward and held out her hand. We have a deal. Vexara looked at Lisa's hand with confusion. It's a handshake, Lisa explained. On Earth, we seal agreements by touching hands. Interesting custom, said the alien. After a moment's hesitation, she reached out her own hand. It was larger than Lisa's, with 6 fingers instead of 5, and slightly cool to the touch. As they shook hands, cameras flashed. This historic moment was being broadcast to every corner of Earth. The first contest begins tomorrow, Vexara declared. Physical combat. Choose your champion wisely, humans. Her tone made it clear she didn't think much of Earth's chances. We will, Lisa assured her. And don't worry, we have the perfect person in mind. After the aliens returned to their ship, the Earth team gathered in a conference room. Did you see the way they moved? Asked General John Clark. Like big cats. Whoever fights them is going to have a hard time. I know, said Lisa. That's why we're not sending a traditional fighter. She turned to a quiet man sitting at the end of the table. Kevin, are you ready for this? Kevin Jones looked up. He was about 5'10" with dark skin and calm brown eyes. Unlike the military personnel, in the room he wore simple workout clothes. Nothing about him seemed impressive at first glance, until you noticed the way he moved with perfect balance and control. I've studied the video of the aliens, he said. They're strong and fast, but they move in predictable ways. I can work with that. Kevin is a former Marine, Lisa explained to the others. He's also a champion in 3 different martial arts. More importantly, he specializes in fighting larger, stronger opponents. But the alien will still be stronger than any human, objected Dr. Lee. Kevin smiled. True, but fighting isn't just about strength. It's about balance, leverage, and using your opponent's energy against them. Sometimes the smaller fighter has the advantage. I hope you're right, said Secretary General Mendez, because tomorrow you'll be fighting for the future of our world. As they continued planning, Lisa looked out the window at the alien ships hovering in the sky. They had convinced the Zoraxians to accept the challenge. That was step 1. Now came the hard part, actually winning it. We can do this, she whispered to herself. We have to. The first contest was set to begin at noon. A large arena had been built overnight in Central Park. Thousands of people filled the stands while billions more watched on screens around the world. Kevin Jones sat alone in a small room under the arena. His eyes were closed as he breathed slowly and deeply. 5 years in the Marines had taught him discipline. 10 years of martial arts had taught him patience. Today, both would be tested like never before. The door opened. Lisa Brown walked in. "It's almost time," she said. "How are you feeling?" Kevin opened his eyes. "Ready?" "The alien fighter just arrived," Lisa told him. "Her name is Kira Vex. She's huge, Kevin. Even bigger than the ones we met yesterday." Kevin stood up and stretched. His movements were smooth and controlled. "Size doesn't win fights. Skill does." "I hope you're right," Lisa said, "because the whole world is watching. This isn't just about winning, it's about showing the aliens that humans are worth respecting." Kevin nodded. "I understand." He rolled his shoulders. "Let's do this." They walked together through a long tunnel. Ahead, sunlight poured in from the arena entrance. The roar of the crowd grew louder with each step. "Remember," Lisa said as they reached the entrance, "this is best of 7 rounds. You don't need to win every round. Just 4 out of 7. I'll do my best," Kevin promised. Then he stepped into the light. The crowd cheered as Kevin entered the arena. It was a simple flat circle about 100 feet across, with no weapons or obstacles. The perfect place for a pure test of skill. On the far side, another entrance opened. The alien fighter Kira Vex stepped out. Kevin had thought he was prepared, but seeing his opponent in person made his heart beat faster. Kira Vex stood nearly 8 feet tall, her blue skin rippling with muscles. The crystal spikes on her head glowed with a fierce red light. She wore minimal armor showing off her strength. A box seat at the edge of the arena held the alien leaders and Earth officials. High General Vexara stood up. "The rules are simple," her voice boomed across the arena. "No weapons, no killing. A fighter is defeated by surrender or by being unable to continue. Best of 7 rounds decides the winner." Kevin and Kira Vex walked to the center of the arena. Up close, she was even more intimidating. She looked down at him with amusement. "Your people send a small male to fight me?" she asked, her voice dripping with scorn. "This is an insult. Don't judge by size," Kevin replied calmly. "Judge by results." A horn sounded. The first round had begun. Kira Vex moved with shocking speed for her size. She charged forward, aiming to grab Kevin and end the fight quickly. But Kevin wasn't there. He stepped aside at the last moment, using a simple Aikido move to redirect her momentum. The alien stumbled forward, surprised. Before she could turn, Kevin delivered a precise strike to a point behind her knee, a pressure point that worked on many species. Kira Vex grunted in pain and spun around, swinging her long arms. Kevin ducked under the blow and moved in close. Too close for her long arms to be effective. "You are quick, human," she said. "But you cannot hurt me." She was right. His strikes didn't have enough power to damage her tough body. He needed a different approach. Kevin backed away, seemingly retreating. As expected, Kira Vex pressed forward. This time when she grabbed for him, Kevin did not resist. Instead, he flowed with her movement, using her own strength and momentum to flip her over his shoulder. 700 pounds of alien warrior crashed to the ground with a boom that shook the arena. The crowd gasped. Before Kira Vex could recover, Kevin had her in a joint lock, a move designed to control without causing damage. He put pressure on an elbow joint, bending it in a direction it wasn't meant to go. Pain is universal. Kira Vex's face showed it clearly. "Yield," Kevin said calmly. "Never," the alien growled. She tried to break free, but Kevin adjusted his hold, increasing the pressure. "You can't break this hold with strength," he explained. "It uses leverage, not power. Yield, and we start the next round." For several tense seconds, Kira Vex struggled. Then, with clear disgust, she slapped the ground 3 times, the universal signal of surrender. "Round 1 to Earth," announced the referee. The crowd went wild. No one had expected Kevin to win the first round. Kira Vex stood up, her crystal crest now glowing orange with anger. "Lucky move, human. It won't happen again." The next round started moments later. This time, Kira Vex was more careful. She circled, Kevin slowly looking for an opening. When she attacked, her movements were controlled rather than rushed. Kevin found himself on the defensive. She was learning, adapting, A powerful blow caught his shoulder, sending him stumbling back. Another strike nearly caught his head. He ducked just in time. "Not so confident now, are you?" Kiravex taunted. Kevin didn't waste breath on a reply. He needed all his focus. She was stronger, faster, with a longer reach. But he had one advantage: thousands of hours of training against bigger opponents. He let her back him toward the edge of the arena. Seeing her chance, Kiravex lunged forward to finish the fight. At the last possible moment, Kevin dropped to the ground and swept his leg in a perfect circle, catching her ankles. Even with her superior balance, the unexpected move caused Kiravex to trip. As she fell, Kevin was already moving. He jumped on her back and locked his arms around her neck in a chokehold. The alien thrashed wildly, trying to throw him off. But Kevin held tight, applying pressure to the blood vessels in her neck rather than the windpipe. The same technique that worked on humans seemed to affect the alien as well. After 30 seconds of struggle, Kiravex's movements grew weaker. Just before she would have passed out, she tapped Kevin's arm in surrender. "Round 2 to Earth," the referee announced. The pattern continued through the next rounds. Kiravex won the third round with a powerful throw that left Kevin gasping for breath. Kevin took the fourth round with a leg lock that even the alien's strength couldn't break. By the sixth round, both fighters were tired. Kevin's body was covered in bruises. One eye was swollen nearly shut. Kiravex was limping slightly, her crystal crest dim with fatigue. The score stood at 3 wins for Kevin, 2 for Kiravex. One more victory, and Earth would win the first contest. As they faced each other for the 6th round, Kiravex did something unexpected. She bowed slightly to Kevin. "You fight well for such a small creature," she said. It sounded almost like respect. Kevin returned the bow. "You too." This round was the longest yet. Both fighters were careful, saving their energy for the perfect moment. The crowd watched in silence, the tension building with each passing minute. Finally, Kevin saw his chance. Kiravex made a small mistake, putting too much weight on her injured leg. He moved in, using a complex judo throw that sent her flying through the air. As she hit the ground, Kevin pounced, securing an armbar that bent her arm to its breaking point. "Yield," he said, his voice hoarse with exhaustion. This time, Kiravex didn't hesitate. She tapped out immediately. "Final score, Earth 4, Zoraxia 3, announced the referee. "The first contest goes to Earth." The crowd erupted in cheers. Lisa Brown rushed into the arena to help Kevin to his feet. He was battered and exhausted, but smiling. Across the arena, High General Vexera watched with narrowed eyes. Her crest flickered with rapid color changes. Surprise, anger, and something else. Curiosity. "One contest down, 3 to go," Lisa said, supporting Kevin as they walked from the arena. And they never expected this response. 2 days after Kevin's victory in the combat arena, the second contest was ready to begin. This time, the challenge would test strategic thinking and planning. The contest would take place in a special room filled with holographic displays. Each side would control a simulated fleet and planet, managing resources and making military decisions in a complex scenario. The goal was simple: achieve the best outcome for your population while dealing with various threats and challenges. Earth's champion for this contest was Sofia Martinez. At 42, she was a quiet woman with streaks of gray in her dark hair. But behind her calm exterior was one of the sharpest minds on the planet. She had been a chess grandmaster at 16 and now designed emergency response systems for major cities. "Are you sure I'm the right person for this?" Sophia asked Lisa as they walked toward the contest room. "I'm not a military strategist." "That's exactly why you're perfect," Lisa replied. "This isn't just about winning battles. It's about the big picture, saving lives, using resources wisely, finding creative solutions. That's what you do every day." Sophia nodded, though she still looked nervous. "And who am I up against?" "Her name is Zorthal. She's their most decorated fleet commander. She's won over 30 major battles for the Imperium." "Great," Sophia muttered. "No pressure." They entered the contest room. One side was already occupied by Zorthal. a tall Zoraxian with deep purple skin and a crystal crest that glowed with a steady blue light. Unlike Kiravex the warrior, Zorthal's eyes showed calculation rather than aggression. This would be a battle of minds, not bodies. The alien looked up as they entered. "So you are Earth's strategist?" she asked, her voice cool and measured. "I expected one of your military leaders." "Sometimes the best strategic thinkers aren't soldiers," Sophia replied. Zorthal's crest flickered briefly. "An interesting perspective. We shall see if it holds true." A human-alien team of judges explained the rules. Each side would control a simulation that would run for the equivalent of 5 years of time. They would manage resources, respond to crises, make military decisions, and shape the development of their civilizations. After 12 hours of real time, the results would be judged based on several factors: population happiness, resource efficiency, military effectiveness, and crisis response. "You may begin," announced the head judge. The displays lit up. Sophia found herself looking at a detailed simulation of a planet and its surrounding space. She had control of cities, farms, factories, research centers, and a fleet of spacecraft. Across the room, Zorthal was already moving quickly, issuing commands to her simulation. Her crystal crest glowed brightly as she worked. Sophia took a different approach. She spent the first hour just studying her simulation, understanding how all the pieces fit together. While Zorthal built warships and military bases, Sophia invested in farms, schools, and renewable energy. "You build no defenses?" Zorthal asked, noticing Sophia's strategy. "How will you survive the threats that come?" Sophia smiled. "There are many kinds of strength." As the hours passed, the simulation threw crisis after crisis at them. A meteor shower threatened their planet. Pirates attacked trade routes. A deadly disease spread through cities. Resource shortages caused unrest. Zorthal met each challenge with military might. When pirates attacked, she sent warships to destroy them. When disease spread, she quarantined entire cities with armed guards. When resources grew scarce, she conquered nearby moons to take what she needed. Sophia's approach was completely different. She built a network of early warning systems to track the meteors and develop smaller, faster ships to redirect them. For the pirates, she offered them legitimate jobs and better pay than they could make from stealing. When disease struck, she poured resources into medicine and treatment centers rather than containment. And instead of taking resources by force, she developed new technologies to recycle and create substitutes. By the 6th hour, the differences in their simulated worlds were stark. Zorthal's planet was secure but harsh. Military bases dotted the landscape. The population was safe but heavily controlled. Resources were plentiful, but came at the cost of conflict with neighbors. Sophia's world looked very different. There were fewer weapons, but the people were healthier and happier. Industries worked together rather than competing. When threats came, the entire population helped solve the problem rather than leaving it to soldiers. "Your strategy is strange," Zorthal commented during a short break. "You leave yourself vulnerable." "Do I?" Sophia asked. "Look closer." The alien studied Sophia's simulation with narrowed eyes. Slowly, her crest changed color from blue to a surprised purple. "Your defense is your people," she said finally. "They defend themselves without being ordered. They solve problems without being told how. They cooperate." "Exactly," said Sophia. "Humans aren't naturally stronger or faster than many Earth species. We survived and thrived because we work together. We share knowledge, we help each other, that's our strength." The final hours of the contest brought the greatest challenges. A massive solar flare threatened to wipe out all electronic systems. Then a neighboring empire declared war, sending a fleet to invade. Zorthal met the invasion with her powerful military, fighting a costly but ultimately successful battle. Her solution to the solar flare was to build hardened bunkers to protect key systems. Sophia again took a different path. For the solar flare, she had already built a distributed power grid and communication system that could quickly detach and reconnect. Some systems went down, but the network as a whole adapted and survived. And when the invasion came, Sophia didn't just fight back. She communicated with the invaders, found out what they really wanted, and negotiated a peace treaty that benefited both sides. As the 12th hour ended, the judges reviewed the results. Both simulated planets had survived all challenges. Both populations lived on. But there were clear differences. Zorthal's world was a fortress, strong, disciplined, ready for the next fight. Sophia's world was a community, flexible, innovative, growing and learning together. The results are clear, announced the head judge after careful analysis. While both strategies showed merit, Earth's approach proved more efficient in resource usage, produced higher population satisfaction, and resolved crises with fewer casualties. The second contest goes to Earth. Murmurs of surprise ran through the room. No one had expected humans to win again. Zorthal's crystal crest dimmed slightly. In defeat, she turned to Sophia. Your methods are unorthodox. In 10,000 years of conquest, we have never encountered a species that fights as you do. We don't always fight, Sophia replied. Sometimes we find ways not to fight at all. That can be the greatest victory. The alien commander was silent for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She bowed slightly to Sophia. You have given me much to consider, human. As Sophia left the contest room with Lisa, the commander was smiling. 2 contests down, 2 to go, Lisa said. And we're winning. For now, Sophia cautioned. But did you see Vexara watching us? She's learning, adapting. The next challenges will be harder. Then we'll just have to be more human than ever, Lisa replied. The humans had won the first 2 contests. The third contest, technological innovation, had also gone to Earth when engineer Peter Kim created a simple but brilliant water filter that could be built anywhere with basic materials. The Zoraxian design had been more advanced but required rare materials and complex tools. Now it was time for the 4th and final contest. Cultural understanding. This would decide everything. Both sides had been given 1 week to study each other's history, art, and way of life. Today, they would be tested on how well they understood each other. The testing took place aboard the Zoraxian flagship. Lisa Brown led a small team of humans, including artists, musicians, and scholars, to the massive ship. As they walked through the metal hallways, they saw hundreds of Zoraxian warriors watching them with curious eyes. They're staring at us, whispered Ben, a music professor. We're the first humans many of them have seen, Lisa replied, and we're the species that's surprisingly winning their challenge. They entered a large round room where High General Vexara waited with her council. The walls were covered with images of Zoraxian history, battles, conquests, and ceremonies. Welcome to the final challenge, said Vexara. Here, we will see if you truly understand who we are, and if we understand who you are. The test began. The Zoraxians showed deep knowledge of human wars, weapons, and military heroes. But when asked about human art, music, and cooperation, they struggled. They understood the parts of human culture that matched their own values, but missed the rest. When it was the humans' turn, they surprised the aliens. They had studied not just Zoraxian battles, but also the meanings behind their crystal crests, the songs their warriors sang before battle, and the stories they told their children. Your crystal crests show your emotions, explained Grace, an anthropologist on Lisa's team. But they also show your family line and personal achievements. The patterns are like a living story of who you are. The Zoraxian judges looked at each other in surprise. This was a deep cultural understanding that few outsiders had ever grasped. Hour after hour, the test continued. The humans showed that they saw the Zoraxians as more than just warriors. They were also artists, parents, dreamers, and seekers, much like humans. They had different values and customs, but they were not simply conquest machines. When the final scores were tallied, Earth had won again. Vexara stood, her crystal crest flashing with complex colors. In all our history, no species has ever defeated us in such a challenge. You have won fairly, humans. As agreed, we will leave your solar system in peace and open diplomatic relations as equals. The human team cheered. Earth was safe, but Lisa stepped forward, raising her hand for quiet. "Before you go, High General, I have a proposal," she said. "Instead of just leaving, why not stay for a while as guests rather than conquerors? There is much we could learn from each other." Vexara tilted her head. "You would invite us to stay after we threatened your world?" "Yes," said Lisa. "That's another human strength. Forgiveness and looking forward, not back. We see potential allies, not just former enemies." For a long moment, Vexara was silent. Then her crest glowed with a new color, a warm gold that none of the humans had seen before. "In 10,000 cycles of conquest," she said slowly, "no one has ever invited us to stay as friends after we came as conquerors. Your species continues to surprise us humans." 1 month later, Lisa stood on the deck of the International Space Station, watching Earth below. Beside her stood Vexara, now serving as the first Zoraxian ambassador to Earth. "Your world is beautiful," said the alien leader. "So much water, so many different lands and peoples. We have much to learn from you." "And we from you," Lisa replied. "This is just the beginning." Below them, several Zoraxian ships now orbited Earth peacefully. The aliens who had come to conquer had stayed to cooperate. It was an unexpected response indeed, from both sides. "To new beginnings," said Lisa. "To new beginnings," agreed Vexara, her crystal crest glowing golden in the light of Earth's sun.